Good morning, Titans. Welcome to CSUF News. I'm Gunnar Texera.
And I'm Jason Martinez.
CSUF student athletes are struggling to get practice space as several teams share the intramural fields.
This is definitely relatable for most athletes here at CSUF. Our reporter Alex Armstrong DeHogue investigates how the system works.
Cal State Fullerton is home to over 40,000 students, many of whom participate in extracurricular sports. Whether they're on an NCAA D1 team, intramural sports, or club sports, many of these athletes are not only competing with other schools, but competing with each other for field space.
I think that one of the top things that impacts a lot of our teams and everyone on campus is just like the usage and the how many people want to use the space.
For an idea of how competitive it is, 2 intramural fields on campus are shared by men and women's soccer, men and women's lacrosse, flag football, rugby, ultimate frisbee, and school classes.
The intramural fields here, is absolutely beat up from, either spring concert under the stars. You have a bunch of intramural other teams like soccer, sometimes you have like flag football. Too many teams are on this field and it's completely beat up.
In order to efficiently distribute field space, Fullerton Athletics, who owns the fields and facilities, has created a system in which teams can reserve field space.
It is my job to communicate with athletics with regards to getting the space. So all the communication is done between myself, intramurals, which is under ASI, and the athletics. So intramurals and I will meet. We'll make sure that all of the schedules are making sense for both of our groups. And then what we'll do is we'll go to athletics with our combined schedule, and then athletics basically okays it.
Many feel this hierarchy of field reservations is unfair, especially club sports who feel they should have more of the field space.
Who, has priority. Obviously, NCAA, they get first priority, but club sports under student life and leadership, we should be number 2.
While the situation has improved, it's still an ongoing issue to find a balance that will suit these athletes and organizations. From Fullerton, Alex Armstrong DeHogue, Cal State Fullerton News.
Hopefully the field situation will continue to improve. Thanks, Alex.
Now switching gears, our reporter Brandon Kilman has the latest on the recent advances towards building a new stadium here in Fullerton.
Fullerton Junior College is fighting for a new stadium right here on the existing Scherbeck Field, though the junior college has received some criticism from the community about the effects that it may have on the surrounding area.
The school spent $185,000 on an environmental impact report that started in 2014. Now the community college is asking for additional funding to complete the EIR before construction proceeds. On October 9th, the North Orange County Community College District voted on Fullerton College's request to approve $150,000 for the EIR. We asked a member of the Board of Trustees, Stephen Blount, what the additional money would be used for.
Do whatever they have to do over to bring it up to where it should be for a final approval.
Several neighbors of the college showed up to voice their concerns and possibly sway the board to vote against the additional funding.
Sharing the stadium is not just a clever slogan, it's a common sense solution, and it's common courtesy to the community that funds Fullerton College.
The board voted in favor of the additional funding for the EIR. Later, we met with resident Mary Frances Gable, and she explained why this community is so unique.
People don't just live here for a short period of time. They come, they raise their families. It's a great place to live.
Gable has been fighting to preserve her neighborhood for the past 10 years and has collected thorough research to support her community's fight.
Neighbors who are real estate agents, they're like, your property values are going to go down.
With a second EIR on its way, the Scherbeck Stadium project remains on track, and we can only expect the neighboring residents to be vocal in the battle leading up to construction. Reporting for CSUF News, I'm Brandon Kilman.
Thanks, Brandon. We will stay informed about any further updates.
Here in the studio is reporter Behia Borlor, who has an important story on the relocation of several student centers on campus.
Thanks, Jason. I went to the south side of the Public Library to hear both student and staff perspective on the move.
California State University Fullerton reopened all their resource centers under one roof in the Public Library. This new relocation has got mixed reviews from both staff and students.
The plans to renovate the south side of the first floor of the library also included a new space for all the resource centers. Vincent V. Hill is the interim director for the Diversity Initiative Resource Center. He emphasizes the importance of self-belonging while attending any university.
These resource centers are important for our students to make certain that they feel a sense of belonging to campus. We all know that if students do not feel comfortable in a space like a campus like this, or feel like they belong in a campus like ours, then they will not succeed.
DIRC includes the African American Resource Center, the Asian Pacific Resource Center, the LGBTQ Resource Center, the Chicano Resource Center, and the Titan Dreamers Resource Center. Students use these centers as safe spaces to relax and network within their community on campus. Now that the resource centers are located in the same space, the close proximity promotes intermingling amongst the communities.
I actually love how having all resource centers together, because you get to meet all the others and have information on it and why they're here and how they can help you.
So my first initial reaction was concern. I was never really excited about it.
The DIRC staff is taking into consideration all the feedback they're getting this semester. They're working to make the resource centers more resourceful and accommodating for their students. This is Abehia Borlor for CSUF News.
Thanks, Abehi. It seems like the new space is facing some challenges.
Staff and students may need some time to adjust.
Stick around. We'll be right back with a compelling story about some unhappy employees from the happiest place on earth after a few words from our sponsors.
Bye-bye. Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back, Titans. Our next story is about Disneyland and the results of a lengthy labor battle over pay.
The recent Disney contract raises minimum wage for nearly 10,000 of the 30,000 Disneyland workers.
Angie Zaga is discussing the recent Disneyland pay raise with testimony from Disneyland employees that are not included in the contract.
The happiest place on earth has some unhappy workers. Earlier this year, Disneyland announced an increase in pay that would raise the minimum wage from $11 an hour to $15. This new rate will come into effect starting January 2019, but many are still left out.
Disney was making all these stories on the news about finally giving their workers a raise and stuff like that, and I was really excited because I thought that counted, but every department I know is different, and I'm in foods, and of course we have a really strong union. I think a lot of just jobs with foods have a good union and stuff, but our union didn't qualify for the raise. Yeah, we didn't get the pay raise, and that was sucks. So attractions got it, retail, so people that work in stores, parking.
According to a survey conducted by the Occidental College Urban and Environmental Policy Institute and the Economic Roundtable called Working for the Mouse, 85% of employees make below minimum wage.
It's really hard. I'm literally living paycheck to paycheck.
You're not guaranteed anything, and it's just really sad to see a company that has so much money not really spend it on the people that are running the place.
I was looking through my pay stubs and I have at least 7 pay stubs that say $0.
Disneyland also introduced new programs to encourage its workers to pursue a higher education. The new program would provide funding and aid for any employees seeking a higher education.
The program's called Disney Aspire. That's just the people that cover your pay. For tuition, stuff like that. And I guess the method was that they would pay you after. So some people were trying to find the money before to pay it, and then they would get it reimbursed. But now you get the money up front.
My schedule for the next 2 weeks, I'm literally working every day, just at both jobs, just to make rent. And so, trying to factor school into that doesn't seem realistic.
Employees remain hopeful that the increase in pay is only the first step of many to improve their overall well-being, and that the new college program is better than the old. Angie Zaga, CSUF News.
Thanks, Angie. It seems like Disneyland employees are still struggling to see their workplace as the happiest place on earth.
It surely makes me wonder when Disney will negotiate raises for other hourly workers.
Up next, Doug DeWitt is in Claremont, where a group of local moms are helping families flee Middle Eastern violence as they adjust to their life in Southern California.
The soccer fields of Claremont in eastern LA County are a world away from the violence of the Syrian conflict. But for Christy Anderson, executive director of the nonprofit Claremont Canopy, the refugee crisis is part of everyday life. Anderson assists mothers and fathers coming to the U.S. to save their families. Canopy's mission? To take refugee families from surviving to thriving.
This mom, she has 4 kids and she's here. She doesn't speak the language. She has no idea where to go to get groceries, and she needs to provide for her kids. And so it's moms helping moms.
6 local moms formed Canopy after the 2016 election, putting aside divisive politics to work for positive change.
There's no politics to that. There's no borders. You know, being a mom crosses all cultural lines. We all feel the same, and I met them and I wanted to help, and sort of the rest is history.
Founding member Amy Barrett says Anderson is the engine that powers Canopy.
There's nobody like her out around here doing this kind of work who's so personally dedicated. She really cares about each and every family, and she really gets involved in all their lives.
According to the UN, the refugee crisis has reached historic proportions. While This American Life reports the U.S. is receiving fewer refugees than ever before. But for Anderson, refugees are not statistics.
Had now 25 families adopt me as part of their family. I believe in the cause, but it's also filled a hole in me, and having this now very large extended family right here near Claremont.
Anderson's advice? Work within your community to address the issues you're passionate about, and never underestimate the power of one person. From Claremont, this is Doug DeVette for CSUF News.
Thank you, Doug, and that concludes our show for today.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to CSUF News. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Gunnar Texera.
And I'm Abehia Borlor, signing off.